Hi guys, Tracy here with another episode of Scrap Chat. I'm going to be answering your guys' questions today. I have questions from way back in September that I was holding on to, and I planned to do an episode of Scrap Chat in September, but then everything got really busy with me and my family, and then I took a big long break from scrapbooking in November where I did very minimal scrapbooking. So here I am, it's February, and I'm just getting around to answering some of these questions now. And in the meantime, a lot of other questions have accumulated, so I'm going to answer some of them right now. So the first topic that I have down for discussion is about kit clubs, and there have been a lot of discussions about this in my Facebook group, as well as just questions that I've received in general over the past several months about kit clubs. And I think some of this comes from some Canadian subscribers that I have, and it has to do with the declining Canadian dollar. And I'm in Canada myself, so I certainly understand that. And the impact that has on the cost of kit clubs in particular, where we're already paying a lot for shipping, and then with the dollar being worth less and less to the American dollar, it gets to be, you come to a place where you have to make a decision about keeping your kit club subscription or letting it go for a while until the dollar gets better. The first question that I think you have to ask yourself is, can you afford a kit club at all? Because and make sure that you know each kit's, like the kit that you're thinking about subscribing to, make sure that you know their policies in terms of cancellation. I mean, if the dollar were to go down even lower, I think it's important to think in advance about how low it would have to go before you would cancel, and then stick to that. And pardon me, know what their cancellation policies are. Most clubs, have a policy. All clubs, any club that you subscribe to should have a written, published policy on cancellations and that sort of thing. So make sure you know what you're getting into, because a lot of times you do have to commit to getting your kits for a certain amount of time in order to get the discount that membership gives you. So first of all, think about, can you afford it at all? The second point that I have that I like to think about when I'm thinking about kit clubs is, do you love the kit and is it going to work for you? So what I suggest that you do is go to the kit club's website and have a look at their previous kits and think about whether the style that you see consistent from month to month to month, because just this month's kit might not be necessarily reflective of what all of the kits are like. So get a sense of what the history has been like in terms of design, and the balance in terms of numbers of pattern papers you get, number of cardstock you get. How do they include letter stickers? If so, how many? What kinds of embellishments and how many of them? And if exclusive items are important to you, are there exclusive items that you'll be getting by being a part of this kit club that you wouldn't get if you're shopping elsewhere? Those are the sorts of things to think about in terms of, is this kit club likely to meet my scrapbooking needs? So there are service aspects involved in a kit club as well. So it's not just a matter of, are all of these scrapbooking supplies worth the cost of the kit, but also there's the convenience of having it delivered to your home and having it all picked out and designed to coordinate with itself. And what I really like about kits is that it gives you a chance to have a whole bunch of scrapbooking supplies that are not all within one collection. I often find that scrapbooking from a collection exclusively, everything looks kind of matchy-matchy on my pages, and it might be nice for one or two layouts, but I find that by the time I get to the third layout, I'm getting bored and it's feeling like everything is just too coordinated. I'm not sure if other people relate to that too. That's not to say anything bad about scrapbooking from collections that way. I know a lot of people do that, and I do it too. But for me personally, I like the fact that a kit club kit will have some stuff from the same collection, but they'll throw in stuff from other collections and some exclusive items as well, just to kind of mix it up and not have such a matchy-matchy look. And I really appreciate that. So I like that it's all coordinated, but not too coordinated, if that makes good sense. So that's one part of the service aspect, but another part is just all of the other inspirational services that a club will provide for you. So usually there is some type of an online forum, whether it's a Facebook group for club members or a message board someplace for club members, Pinterest boards and galleries where you can share your work, and that sort of thing is really, really helpful, because when you get this bunch of supplies, I mean, I remember especially when I was a beginning scrapbooker, I would get this box of supplies. I subscribed to the Scarlet Lime kit at that point, and I would get this box of supplies and I'd feel like, man, I don't know what to do with some of these things. And I was just like going online and seeing what different people were doing with the kits. And I found it really, really helpful. And even today, now that I'm a bit more of a seasoned scrapbooker and I have a better sense of what I want to do with products when I see them, I still find it really helpful to see other people using the same collection of supplies and the different ideas that they come up with. And whether they're the same or different than what I would do with them, it's still really nice to see, you know, different takes on the same products and how it can be put together. It's actually quite amazing how a bunch of people, like hundreds of people with the same supplies, can come up with so many different looks in a given month. It's actually quite amazing. That's one of the things that I really love about the Scraptastic Kit Club Facebook group, is just getting to see all the different ways that you can mix it up. It's really cool. A lot of times a kit club will have a blog that subscribers can follow, or anybody can follow it, and different kit clubs cater in different amounts to their members' needs. And so, you know, it's worth taking a look at the blog and seeing if it's something that you find inspiring, and whether, you know, they're posting regularly to the blog, and whether it's projects that will help you, you know, decide what you want to do with the kit. Sometimes they'll have subscriber challenges, or they'll have a sketch posted every month. The Scraptastic Kit Club does both of those things, but I'm sure that other kit clubs do it as well. So have a look around at that sort of thing. Also, a lot of times kit clubs will provide cuttables, print and cuts, or cut files for your silhouette or whatever die cutting machine you use. And those digital supplies are worth taking into consideration, especially if you tend to use those sorts of things. I personally rarely use those sorts of resources, although I do appreciate that it's a part of the kit club and it's helpful to have those for if I ever get stuck or if I ever really want to use them. And then I think the last point that I have written down here is about just the idea of being current and up to date in what's out there, and not needing to spend a lot of effort to do that. So because I have a full-time job, scrapbooking isn't something that I can always spend as much time on as I want to spend. And so there are times when I feel a little bit out of the loop with scrapbooking if my life is really busy, and especially if it's busy at around the time when either mid-season releases are coming out or around CHA time. Sometimes I feel like, man, I'm a bit out of the loop and I'm not really on trend. And my kit club really keeps me up to date on those sorts of things. So a perfect example of this is that I was really busy right before Christmas, and I knew that I wanted a Christmas themed scrapbooking kit. So when the kit club selections came out, I chose the Christmas one. It was called All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I just picked it. I looked at it and I thought, oh, that looks great. I'll just take it. I didn't look all that closely. When it came, it was filled with all kinds of this really great collection by Fancy Pants called Wish Seasons. And because I was so busy, I just didn't get a chance to look at that collection before Christmas. And I had no idea how awesome it was. And so the fact that it just came automatically because I was a member of the kit club really helped me discover something new that might have passed me by if I was relying on my own kind of keeping my thumb on the heartbeat of the industry or whatever. I'm not good at that. So it was really nice that my kit club keeps me up when I have those moments of lagging behind what's going on in the industry. There is a bit of a flip side to that, which is, I'm going to skip ahead. I've got a list here and I'm going out of order. But the flip side of that is that there are times when I really want to shop. So for example, when CHA came around recently in January, I was in it. Like I didn't go, but I was able to have enough time to really look at all of the manufacturers' blogs, and I took a look at all the sneak peeks, and I watched lots and lots of videos from CHA. So I felt like I knew what was going on at CHA, and I was excited about certain collections and certain products that were coming out. But I'm reluctant to jump in and buy anything because I don't know what's going to be in the kits that are coming up. So that's a good thing because I know I'll get some of these goodies no matter what. And it turns out that some of the Maggie Holmes goodies will be in the next kit that's coming. And I love that, and I really wanted those things, so I'm really glad about that. But it's a little bit harder to shop, which might be a good thing if you don't want to shop so much. But there's a double-edged sword there. So then I have a list of sort of. There's always exceptions, but these might be factors that would make you not want to belong to a kit club. One is if your scrapping time is not consistent. So if you go through periods where, like, I have friends who only scrapbook once or twice a year, for example, or they just sporadically, like, they might have several months where they're scrapbooking a lot, and then it kind of drops off and they almost don't scrapbook at all for a period of several months. So if you're like that, it really doesn't make sense to be spending money every single month on new supplies, unless if you don't mind saving up your kits. And I did used to do that, especially when I belonged to the Scarlet Lime Kit Club. At one point, I had a stack of pizza boxes that was like probably up to here. It was all stacked. You know what? It couldn't have been. That would be a lot. I think it was stacked on top of another box, but it was like a good maybe 8 pizza boxes of Scarlet Lime kits that were either mostly untouched or I had just made 1 or 2 layouts with them, and I had to unsubscribe for a while and get caught up. So that's an issue, is that a scrapbooking kit club means that you are getting supplies every time. Or every month. And so if your scrapbooking isn't consistent, that might not work for you, or maybe it would, depends. The other thing is that if you're really, really particular about what you like and don't like in your scrapbooking products, then kit clubs might not be for you because someone else is going to be picking out your supplies for the month. That's important to keep in mind. And beware that if you subscribe to a kit club for a whole year, chances are at least one of those kits is not going to be awesome in your mind. Like, it's not going to be a perfect match for you. That's why it's really important that you look back at the scrapbook club that you're thinking about joining. Look back at their previous kits, because you don't want that to happen all the time. If it's happening all the time, then you're not in the right club, or maybe kit clubs just aren't for you. If it happens every once in a while, you have to just kind of chalk that up to, I mean, it sucks, but you just kind of have to chalk it up to, that's part of putting your shopping in someone else's hands, is that there might be a time when you don't have a kit that you love. I'm going to do a video in the future about what to do when your club kit is not exactly what you were hoping it would be. And so keep an eye out for that video, because that one has been requested several times. So that's on my list of videos to make. So the third idea that I had for times when a kit club might not be for you would be if you can't afford a regular scrapbooking budget. And, you know, we've all been there at different times in our lives when money is tight, and it's important that you don't, I mean, if scrapbooking is your hobby, it should be something that relaxes you, not something that causes you more stress. And if every month you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this money, I hope it's worth it, everything just gets more tense and you feel more pressure to scrapbook, to use the products, and maybe that pressure isn't always conducive to being creative and to relaxing and enjoying the process. So I think that's, I mean, it seems obvious, you know, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't do it. But I think that it's worth just giving some thought to that and thinking about, you know, having that regular expenditure every month that you can't. I mean, once you subscribe, there's usually some type of a penalty for unsubscribing. And so you have to really think about that, because if you're the kind of person who has variable extra spending each month, then you might be better off to just buy a kit when you can. And then the kits end up costing more that way per kit. But if you end up buying less of them per year, it's less, right? So, and then you've got that money to relax and not worry about on the months that you don't buy kits. So, I mean, that's always an option, is to just buy kits individually. Sometimes it can be hard to get your hands on a kit depending on the club and depending on how popular a certain kit is, but that's always an option as well. So then there are just some other considerations that I just jotted down at the last minute before I pressed record here. One is that you should be aware that you may not use much of your stash when you're belonging to a kit club. I have like a look at this, like I have all of this stuff around me, and I often don't get to draw from much of my own stash because I have kit club supplies coming in every single month, and most of my scrapbooking just goes into that, and then I draw from my stash a little bit, but I don't use it very much. The other thing to keep in mind is that you will probably, depending on the kit you belong to, you may have an ever increasing stash because especially if you like to start the next kit as soon as you get it, because for most kit clubs, at least for the Scraptastic Kit Club, I can't kill a kit in a month. I just can't. There's just too much stuff included in the kit, and I get a kit and an add-on every month, and I just can't kill it. And that's a good thing because I like to have stuff in my stash. I like to keep my stash kind of circulating so that I'm getting rid of old stuff and replacing it with newer stuff. And so, you know, that works for me because I know that I will eventually draw on it, and I have the room to store it, so it's okay. But if you're the kind of person who likes to feel like you're using stuff up, you might want to think about maybe getting a kit every other month, or if you're in love with your stash, then maybe you would just want to use your stash for a while before you join a kit club. So the next thing that I have on my list is the flip side of the you don't have to shop. The flip side of that is you don't get to shop. Unless if you have a really big budget or you just like to shop anyways, then go ahead and shop. That's great. But so I wrote down here, you might not shop often, or ... you might, with a little happy face. So yeah, you might shop anyways. So keep that in mind. And then the other consideration is, and it's not like a downfall or a positive side of a scrapbooking kit, but think about how you're going to store your kit, because that has a lot to do with how you use your kit. And I like to have my kit out, so I'm just gonna, my computer won't like stay up. I would rather be filming at this angle, but my monitor just falls down when I do that. But see, whoops. Here we go again. I don't do these scrap chats often enough, so I don't know how my left and right works. So see right over there, there's some blue chipboard. Those are all of the pieces of my kit. And then that kind of rectangular square box with a red dish on top of it, that tray with the red dish in it is where I keep my papers for my kit. And so I keep my kit out and on display so that I can see everything and use it and be excited about it. So you want to give some thought to how you're going to store your kits if you join a kit club, because that's one of the funnest parts of belonging to a kit club, is getting that box every month and thinking about what you're going to do with the goodies. So this has been so long that I almost feel like I'm going to publish this part separate as kind of like the kit club edition of Scrap Chat, and then I'll post a separate video with the rest of my questions. And so feel free to comment below if you have any other comments or questions about kit clubs, and I might do a follow-up video, or just, you know, get some conversation going either here in the comments section or over in the Facebook group. If you haven't heard about my Facebook group yet, I'll link it in the information section below for this video. Come on over and join us in our 27-day challenge. Each month there will be a different challenge, and yeah, it's the purpose of the group is just to just be interactive and to have fun. And if you can't do the challenge every month, that's fine. You don't have to, but you can be a part anyways. We'd love to have you over there. So that's it for this one, I guess. I will be right back with another one. Take care and have a great scrappy few minutes, because I'll be right back.